Well, looks like the Packers are going to lose to the 49ers. Only one thing left to do. I'll miss you, Aaron. Oh, we won? We won! Not today, old friend. Not today. Oh.
Grossi Posse Packer Nation, welcome to another episode of Packcast, the podcast where you're not a big Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom Grossi, and I currently have no voice from screaming as the Green Bay Packers defeated the San Francisco 49ers in a thriller that came down to a last-second Mason Crosby field goal, and the Packers win 33-30. But before we do that, let's take a look at our sponsor for today's episode, which is SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a fantastic site that you can use to buy and sell tickets, especially for the Packers game. And if you use promo code TomGrossi, you save 20 smackaroonies, and it helps out the show. So it's literally free money. So anytime you go and buy from SeatGeek, $20 off, use promo code TomGrossi. Now, in this episode, I'm not going to stray away from the problems that the Packers obviously have. We'll get to those momentarily. But let's just take a moment and say that this one at least ended well. This was a good one for the Packers, and at least we're going into the bye week with a win. Taking a look at some stats. The second week in a row that Rodgers has thrown for over 400 yards, going 25 for 46, 425 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones only been given the ball 8 times for 41 yards. I know a lot of people are going to have a problem with that. We'll talk about it. Rodgers himself running 3 times for 34 yards, though he was running a lot more than that, considering that his offensive line could not block for him, and the San Francisco 49ers defense was just all over him throughout the game. Monty even had a touchdown on the ground. Adams, the big target today, going 10 for 132 with 2 touchdowns. Jimmy Graham getting involved, 5 catches, 104 yards, and even MVS having a big game, going 3 catches for 103 yards. ESB also had a really important catch on the sideline. On the defensive side, only 2 real people to talk about. Kevin King also had an interception. Clay Matthews had a sack, but Blake Martinez with 9 tackles. He's been playing really well. And Kenny Clark, for another week in a row, has been playing great. 6 tackles and 1 sack. So let's talk about a couple things here. Let's talk about the offense. So the offense, again, not really giving Jones a ton of carries. Williams was involved a little bit in the game, but they got away from the running game pretty early, which was surprising to me, considering that it was working decently well. But the 49ers were calling a lot of blitz packages. They looked like they were at least showing that they were going to blitz, but then they were dropping back in coverage. Like I said, the scheming on the defensive side of the ball for the 49ers was done very, very well in this game. They definitely had a game plan coming in, and they utilized it to a good amount of success, especially within the first half. But talking about like the stagnation of the Packers offense, they looked great in the first quarter. They looked wonderful. Then they got bogged down, not scoring too many points, only putting up 3 in the third quarter, and they really didn't come alive until those last 2 drives. We even got down to the near the end zone when we went for it on 4th down. We couldn't get it done there, but Rodgers putting the entire team on his back those last 2 drives, and some wide receivers making some phenomenal catches, allowing us to win the game. So that is a cause for concern in that, again, the inconsistency was there. And again, while, we also don't have Geronimo Allison, we don't have Randall Cobb, Spriggs was out. I think another part of it is you have to give credit to the 49ers defense here. The 49ers, by the way, Beathard, 16 for 23, 245 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, the big one to Kevin King. You also had Breida going 14 for 61, getting a touchdown. Mostert gets 12 for 87, and then Goodwin had a great game in the first half, 4 for 126, and 2 touchdowns. And so the big thing that came out of this was the defense just did not look great. The 49ers were able to run all over them. The first drive of the game, they marched downfield, getting in for an easy 6. And the Packers scored less than 2 minutes later and getting a field goal and then another touchdown. They forced a fumble. It looked like we were kind of picking it up, and then Goodwin ran all over this team, and kind of it was a mess for quite some time. We couldn't get a stop, and they were kind of just chipping field goals away at us. And again, the Packers, they were up in the first quarter, and then they weren't up again until the last second of the fourth quarter, thinking this actually was going to go into halftime. But there's a couple reasons, again, for that. The offensive line really struggled here. I think they definitely missed Jason Spriggs. Rodgers was constantly under pressure. He also held onto the ball for a while, made some errant throws. But again, he didn't really have time. He looked good mobility-wise, but he did go down a little bit awkwardly on one of those hits. In addition, the defense was a little bit better in the second half, obviously, only holding them to a few points. They made some big stops in the fourth quarter, which was definitely needed. But again, this is something that we've consistently looked at, and that the first half they're giving up 20-plus points, and then they're coming back in the second half. That's not going to work against teams like it did with the Redskins. It didn't work with them. It didn't work with the Lions. And I don't think it's going to work against teams like the Rams and the Patriots. That being said, there's a lot of questions about this team going into the bye. While this is like a very happy moment, I am very happy that we won. I'm pumped. Obviously, I have no voice, but this could have gone sideways very, very quickly, and we could be sitting at 2-3-1 and sitting at the third in the NFC North. Instead, we're sitting at number 2. We're ahead of the Vikings, but we're just beneath the Bears because we have that one tie. So a couple things. One, Jair Alexander, again, out today. We need to get him back in that secondary. That was proven tonight. We need to get Cobb back and Allison back. While the rookies did well, especially MVS, I think Rodgers definitely misses those guys there. And just the fact that Rodgers holds onto that ball for so long, they're usually able to get somebody open. Cobb knows him well, being a teammate of his for so long, and Allison obviously, has a little bit more experience than some of the rookies. But I mean, I don't know. There's a lot going on with this team, and I'm hoping that they're going into the bye, they're getting completely healthy, because when they come out of the bye, they got the Rams, they got the Patriots, and those are going to be 2 really tough back-to-back games. And I feel like those 2 games are going to be really the ultimate test for our season, if this team is going to go anywhere, to see what kind of performance we put up against these 2 Super Bowl caliber teams. But we'll see when we come out of the bye. It should be interesting. But again, happiness tonight. Next week it'll be nice, coasting on a bye, coasting on a win, and Rodgers played. It hasn't been consistent all year, but played damn freaking good football those last 2 drives. So, hats off to him, and then a big shout out to Mason Crosby after having the worst game of his life last week, coming back, hitting every field goal, and then hitting a game-winning field goal. This is like a freaking Disney movie up in here. So, big shout out to Mason Crosby. That's my kicker. Let me know what you thought about the game down below. Again, every Packers game that we do, we live stream it here. You can check out a replay of the live stream app on the channel. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com, TomGrossi Comedy, or Tom Grossi Comedy on Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. You can also check out Allergic to Fun, my debut comedy album. Pick up a physical copy at TomGrossiComedy.com or on iTunes and Amazon for your digital copies. In addition, Packcast is on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, and of course here on YouTube. We provide content at least 3 times a week. And I'm also running the New York City Marathon in 20 days. If you would like to donate to the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research, there is a link in the description down below. But again, a great night. It's past midnight. I have no voice. I have to get up for work tomorrow. Feels good. Feels good. Let's hope we can come out swinging out of the bye week. And let's go show this NFL what we're made of. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack, go.